That's Chanté Linwood right there. And like I said, we're outside Haymarket. It's Car Con Carne, presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. This car we're in, Chante, is a Mazda CX-9 that I got on loan from the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. It's comfortable enough that you can spread out your dinner. You've got like everything laid out for you perfectly here. You got your veggie burger, vegan burger. You got your chili. It's spacious. It feels almost presidential.
Yes, it feels wonderful.
It does.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And I want to thank Haymarket for setting this up tonight, setting up the food. I got the El Diablo burger, which does have a vaguely devilish look to it. You see how big this is, right?
Yeah, it's huge. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to eat this without destroying the car.
Don't say that. See, like just saying that means it's possible. No.
Destroying the car.
The car is going to be fine. The car is going to be fine.
Here's my vegan burger.
No harm will come to this car.
And my chili.
So let's talk a little bit about you, your career, the million things you do.
Yes.
Because you are involved in just a boatload of stuff.
Yes.
I guess let's start with the Forbes article that came out earlier this year. That seemed to be kind of a big push in the right direction for Chante.
Yeah.
So you were featured with other women in music. It was you. It was Billie Eilish. It was Lizzo. I mean...
Oh, cool. I'm not going to lie. I didn't read it.
No way!
No, I didn't read it.
Are you one of those people who doesn't read any of their press?
I wouldn't say I would. I think I get really excited about stuff, so... I'm just really bad at either remembering things or finding it. I don't know.
So this was a South by Southwest preview, and you were listed in that company.
Yeah. I actually know the person who wrote it, Jane. She's somebody that I met randomly when I was doing it was the first all-woman showcase with House of Vans, and she...
The House of Vans in Chicago.
No, House of Vans in Austin.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So it was their 50th anniversary, and so it was a really cool experience. And I had just started my organization, and within 3 months, then all of a sudden we had, we were doing the all-woman showcase.
I love that.
It was great, but I'm pretty sure she wrote that. Not like it's like nepotism or anything, but yeah.
Well, certainly the company you kept in that article, good things happen to the other women. So
yeah.
It seems like this is your year.
This is my year.
Let's talk about DJ Chante. You're like now. If what you wrote is to be believed, did you really grow up listening to Styx records?
Yeah, that's still my favorite.
Is that a Midwestern thing, like a rite of passage for?
See, my mom. I think every human being gets their music taste from their mother. Mm-hmm. In reality, almost every person I know, every big artist that I know, every small artist I know, almost everyone will say that their mom is who put them on the music that they listen to. And so growing up, my mom was very much stuck in the 70s and 80s, and so I didn't listen to rap growing up. It was like Christian rock and Styx, REO Speedwagon, Def Leppard. Oh my gosh, Journey was one of my favorite. Boston.
I love that that's your foundation.
Yeah, but I think that's also what makes it easier for me to DJ almost anything. Yeah. I only started, so when I started DJing, I had a group and we called ourselves the Thugettes. And I thought it was a cool name because I'm obsessed with oldies.
I was going to say very Motown.
Yeah, so I'm obsessed with oldies and Motown and that era. And actually when I was younger, my cousin and I started a singing group and we used to do like remakes of oldies. But so when we had that name, we started getting booked for a lot of rap gigs, for a lot of clubs that wanted hip-hop and rap music, and I had never played that in my life. I started as a house DJ. And so when we started doing that, that's when I learned how to DJ rap music. And then so I've kind of just gone from knowing every, I guess, genre and facet of music, and it makes it a lot easier.
So as far as DJing goes, do you play vinyl? Do you work strictly digital?
Right now, it's been mostly digital for the last few years, but when I learned on vinyl by ear because I wanted to learn the original way. And so... Did
you go, like, crate diving for music?
I did, quite a bit. So, like, I remember I didn't have a lot of money, so I went and bought just 2 house tracks, and I think it was Dancin' by J.J. Flores, and, oh my gosh, I can't remember the other one, but they're 2 of my favorite house music tracks of all time. And side note, when I met Kashmir, who's like one of the founders of house music, It was like the greatest moment of my life because that's what I started on. So my foundation is very much so dance music and like upbeat things.
Uh-huh.
But I also love pop music and top 40, and I'd like to play things that everybody knows.
You're an omnivore. You
Yes.
consume it all.
Yes. I like to just create. I like to do stuff.
When did the DJ gig kind of transition into working with big names? I mean, because you look at the list of people you've collaborated with, whether it's Chance or Common or Kanye. I mean, the list is pretty extraordinary. Everyone you worked
Yeah.
with.
It's so hard to put to words. It's really
Was it like an all at once? Was it so gradual you didn't even realize it was going on?
gradual, yeah. And I think even now, so I don't fully realize it until it gets brought up, or until I see someone on TV, or until something happens and I'm like, oh yeah, I've worked with them, or I've done this, or I've done that. So it actually just, I think it became so much more of a lifestyle than just experiences, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so I don't know how to explain it. It's really weird when I think about it, because growing up, I actually had a teacher, something I've never forgotten. I forgot how exactly they say it, but I just remember the teacher, my counselor actually, told me I would never go to the school that I wanted to go to, and then that I would never meet like anyone famous, that was something that didn't happen in life. Like, just really...
When you hear that stuff as a kid, doesn't that push you to do the exact opposite of what you're told?
For me, it does, but I actually think for a lot of kids, it actually harms them in a lot of ways. Because I think as kids and as people, everybody has huge dreams, and then someone in their life turns it down or strays them away from that dream and sort of puts them into this box of reality. And then there are few people that say, no matter what, I'm going to do this. And then they succeed, or they don't, or they keep trying.
Some people don't kick back because they figure, what's the point?
For me, it was always... I don't know. I think I've just had a little bit more of a different backbone. It does push me a little bit more when people don't believe in me.
Yeah.
To do things.
See, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's kind of like a fuck you, right?
It's kind of like a fuck you.
Yeah.
I didn't know who was going to crack the swearing seal, but it was clearly going to be you.
Yeah, I curse a lot.
All right, so I want you to be able to eat. I just picked the onion rings off my El Diablo burger. Oh, my Lord. They were so good.
My little child is... Hello.
Oh, yeah, you are with child as we're eating.
Yes.
How's it going?
He's doing well, yeah. I really like... When we first got in, he actually kicked me super hard, and I'm like, all right, so you're into it. This is...
Not distracting at all.
Not at all.
No.
No. I'm totally used to it. It actually pushed me a lot. It career-wise, because I got to a point where I was 8 months pregnant. I was DJing with my second child, and when people would give me shit, like, I can't do this, A, B, C, whatever, I would say, if I can do it while pregnant, I had two rare disorders during my second pregnancy. Both were life-threatening. And I actually ended up having my baby almost 2 months early.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, yeah, and the little blonde one. And so for me, I'm very much so like, there really are no excuses. If you want something, you'll do it. And you'll find a way to get it done. And it doesn't matter what obstacles are there. You'll figure out a way.
I love that. And not to diminish what you just said, this food is so good.
It really is good. Yeah, it's good. I'm just like... Not that I care about looking pretty or anything. I'm just afraid to eat this without destroying myself or the car.
Yeah,
but
all bets are off. You have a napkin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, all bets are off in the car, Chante, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
After briefly mentioning all the people you've worked with, I guess a more fair question is, when do we get a proper release from you, or a proper music release?
Yes. So, for some reason, music... to me is so frightening when it comes to putting it out, because everything else I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just internalizing a lot or just being insecure, but with music I've always wanted to make music and I've always tried to make music, but I keep finding ways to stop myself and then coming back. And actually the stuff that I'm making now is really my favorite, and it's very like dancey, Missy Elliott, like even top 40, and I'm okay with that because I think it's just fun.
Yeah.
And even when I went to film school, I remember going into film school, I was like, I don't want to make films that make you think. I just want to make you laugh. And then, of course, I changed my mind later, and I'm like, I care about changing the world. And so
You
I
can
wonder,
do both.
You
You
can
can do both.
You can, and that's what I realized through all the things that I did. Even with DJing, at one point, I felt really boxed in that if I wanted to do house music, I had to only do house music. If I wanted to do this kind of music, I had only to do this kind of music. And I've realized over time, and what's helped me just as a person, that you really don't have to just do one thing.
Right.
You can do everything.
And
that
you really
want.
don't do one thing.
No, I don't. At least it's like it's secular, sort of like in phases.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows me to not perfect, but get to a point where I feel comfortable moving on to the next thing.
So that all said, where does this leave you with music?
Yeah, I didn't answer, right? So I've been working.
I mean, you were very eloquent. We just didn't get to an answer.
So I've been working on a project for 2 years now, and it sort of it's now transformed, because when I was working on it then, I was in a much different place mentally
Sure.
too, and so the stuff that I'm working on, it's still very much so relevant, and it's more so just fun stuff, but I combined with, or I'm collaborating with my friend Takara, who randomly went viral in Australia. She's from Australia. She went viral in Australia because somebody on Tinder told her that she would be prettier if she bleached her skin, and she's already very light-skinned, mixed woman like
What
myself.
makes people say shit like that?
They're ignorant. But she responded in a way that was hilarious, like, the world would be better without you if you would bleach yourself or something. I don't know what she said, but it was really funny. So she went viral, has this crazy big following for that, and so she daily, because of that kind of following that she has, because of that, she often battles people with those kind of things. But so when I met her, it was actually through a boyfriend, and I just pushed her, because one of my favorite things in life is helping people figure out, like, or following their dreams to an extent. And
I'm so glad we met. Can you help me?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
But she was somebody that she's really good at writing music, really good, and she's like Dua Lipa mixed with Billie Eilish, and just really interesting, like, sort of monotone, deeper voice, but really good, catchy lyrics. And so we started collaborating, and the stuff that we're working on is just really fun. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope to put it out soon. But it really is so nerve-wracking to go from, I know so many people who make music. I know so many people who are really good at making music. And I've always been, even when I transitioned into DJing, I had a lot of pushback because I was like one of the only women at that time in the scene doing it.
Isn't that interesting?
It's interesting. It's cool that I've been through it now, but it also sucked to go through.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely breaking down a lot of walls so that other people could succeed in ways.
Yeah, being a pioneer isn't easy.
No, right? And so dealing with that, like there were people that when I started DJing were like, you need to stay in your lane. I'm like, what lane am I in? Because I was acting and came up. That's how I, when I was in like the movie and all that stuff that I did before full-time DJing, was full-time acting.
Again, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you another question, but I'm going to do it really slowly.
Yes.
So that you can have another bite.
When
of
is
your
the music
adventure.
coming out?
Do we even get to that? No.
No. Okay, this is a new question.
Well, no. In summary, it'll come out when it's damn well ready to come out. Is
yeah.
basically what you're saying. But I mean, don't you get to the point where you can overthink it to death and actually make it worse?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not at that point, though.
I don't think I'm making it worse, no. I do think it's at a point where it's ready to come out and it's good to go. It's just more so now how I want to put it out.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of barriers with that, too, because I was in, like, I've come out a lot about, like, domestic violence and relationship stuff that I was in. And the project, when I started on it, was with someone who said that I would never, ever be able to release it. So it's more so just finalizing it.
And you know when people say that to you, that's about them. It's not about you. 100%.
Yeah. Almost everything, right?
Yes.
Almost everything.
Almost everything.
Even the compliments.
That's not true.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
All right.
You know, like, a lot of stuff comes from a place of, like, I don't know, internal.
All right, so the next question will be asked slowly. So you can eat your food.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for playing along. This really is super good. I want to thank Mike and Haymarket again for providing an amazing meal. Chante is vegetarian, and you had no problem finding stuff to eat.
No.
That burger.
That's good.
Car Con Carne is presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. So, music aside, you mentioned domestic violence. You are a voice, a very encouraging empowering voice for women. Tell me about the Collectiv.
Okay, so in 2015, I had been... Well, prior to this, I'm so bad with timelines, but I just remember 2015 is when I actually started the Collectiv with 4 or 5 other women that I really appreciated their drive and like their work. And then it ended up turning completely from what I had originally started it. But one of the women came up with cliche, and the reason why we said cliche is because it's not new to start a collective or sort of a group of sorts. And for me, I felt like there were a lot of male guided groups or like Save Money, Treated Crew, and there were those kind of communities for men in the city. And then I was doing events, like I started an event with East Room when they opened called Pussy Control, and it was very much so for me to have women supporting other women. And I started getting frustrated because when I started that party, and it was before I started the Collectiv, I would notice that I wasn't getting women to come to stuff. But when I would DJ, my partner at that time, his party, which we both had the same party at East Room, it was, and a lot of times I would DJ it. When I would DJ that, I would see a lot of people that would show up to that but wouldn't show up to mine, but yet I was still DJing it, so it was the same exact thing. And it was frustrating because I felt like women were showing up to parties that in turn would objectify them or put them in places of being sexualized. And my party was more so like, we can do the sexualizing or we can just enjoy ourselves.
Right.
And
do you think the name was off-putting?
I think it at that time, yes, because it was hard for people, like it was a hard pill for people to swallow. Now I don't think too many people care.
Right.
But it was inspired by Prince also, because his song Pussy Control, and for me,
favorite Prince song.
Pussy Control's a pretty good one. Oh fuck. Well,
See, for me, it's Let's Pretend We're Married.
That's good. I just love Prince in general, and one of my friends actually did a song with him before he died, and I love that song too. It's called Baltimore. I don't know if you heard that one. Yeah.
Sorry. So.
Let's Go Crazy. What's that song called? Why can't I think of the name? Pregnancy Brain. But that song is one of my favorite.
Let's Go Crazy?
It's not Let's Go Crazy. It's called something else. Whatever. But yeah, so
Pussy Control.
It started Pussy Control, and that's what led me to start the organization. But I definitely remember specific incidents where I was showing up to gigs and I would be carrying all my equipment, and men would come up to me and say, "Who are you here for, sweetie?" I'd be like, "I'm the talent. I'm the one DJing." Or there were men at specific places like what's it called? My gosh, I can't remember anything right now.
Women love to be called sweetie.
Ugh.
If there's one hard and fast truth, there it is.
I mean, if we're dating, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot stand where if you just meet me that you're calling me little pet names like honey, sweetie, babe, and maybe that's just me or the womanist inside of me, whatever. But I very much
No, it would
so.
never occur to me to say that stuff. I mean,
You're a different breed of human.
I guess.
A lot of men are very sexist, but excuse my acid reflux. But so I remember starting that and then dealing with incidents like that. And then there were a couple incidents where I was in a group chat with like some of the biggest artists in Chicago, and we were all in this group chat of like 50 people deep, and it was hilarious. But there were times where I would share my opinion with stuff, and I would literally be told, "You don't know what you're talking about. You've never done this or you've never done that." And although it wasn't true, and either way, even if you haven't done something, you could still have some good insight into it, right? And so it was those incidents, like marred with the incidents of like someone trying to set up equipment for me, and I know how to set up my equipment within like 2 minutes. I think if you're a DJ or you're an artist or anything you do, you should know like every part of it, right?
In the dark, blindfolded.
Yeah. And I can set up my stuff fast, and this man was taking 20-30 minutes to set up something, and then eventually I was just like, please just let me do it, I got this, I'm fine. So those couple of things where I got tired. And same thing with acting. When I was doing film and all of that, I got tired of waiting for opportunities to come to me, and so I decided to create them more. And then even right now with the Collectiv, I've been holding off on a lot of stuff because it became very much so a trend, and so a lot of people are on that like let's support women vibe and doing a lot of things. And so it's nice to just take a step back, be like, all right, go ahead and think of the next thing we're going to do.
But going back to the more proactive, helpful aspect of this, I mean, have you had women approach you or the greater Collectiv looking for help? Like, have there been situations where you thought, oh, thank God I started that, because that really...
Yeah. There's been a lot that... a lot of outreach, actually. It's been very positive. There's only been maybe 1 or 2 situations where something negative was said, but But in general, like, women have come to me from all over the place and have said how much they appreciate, you know, I like to say ovaries instead of balls, but like sort of the ovaries that I've had to do all of the stuff that I've done, and how it's really inspired them. I remember when I was pregnant with Ash, I was DJing at All Saints. It's like 8 months pregnant DJing, and a woman came up to me.
Probably sweating like crazy.
I was wearing a wool dress.
Yeah.
But a woman came up to me and she said that because of me and the work I've done, that it made her think more about supporting women. And then she ended up being my first intern, actually. So it was
I love
funny.
that.
It was great, yeah. And so that has happened a lot, things like that. And then, you know, my greatest achievement to myself was when we did the Dollhouse, and we did 24 events in 31 days, and it was a pop-up.
That's exhausting.
It was very exhausting. I felt like my life was destroyed, and since then I felt like I took a break from everything. But it really was just, those moments to me are so beautiful. I love doing things that people are afraid to do, and I love celebrating things that people tend to stigmatize, like periods and birth and women.
The word pussy.
Especially pussy. And I love the word cunt, too. And honestly, cunt came from a place that was actually glorifying a woman's parts, and then it got turned into something negative. So I love taking
Profanity
things.
in general is silly to me.
It really is, yeah. I love the word bitch. I think I'd like to say I try to reclaim it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it in positive ways, but then it's really hard not to use it out of anger.
Uh-huh.
So
You get that?
yeah, so it's definitely, I don't know. I'm definitely proud of a lot of the work that I've done. It's fun, and then it's nice to be able to say, like, oh, I did pioneer this, or I did do this, and I am proud of it, and I did it on my own.
I like, one of the things I like about you is that entrepreneurial spirit. That, okay, things aren't lining up the way I necessarily would like them to. I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
And when I talk about this podcast and why I started it, I think about a Talking Heads song that was on More Songs About Buildings and Food, 1978, a song called Found a Job. It's about a couple who's bored, there's nothing on television, everything sucks, so rather than wait for something good to come up on TV, they make their own TV show. And that's, for me, I was tired of waiting for that radio gig or that situation. I'm going to make my own radio.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like, you can't wait for stuff to line up or fall in your lap. Create your own
And you don't
adventure.
need to.
You don't need to.
You don't need to.
Especially with all the technology and resources you have at your fingertips today. That's exactly right.
I think it comes down to a lot of people just are used to having all these hurdles put in front of them. And so it's about, like, really just, like, life really is short. So it really is thinking, what's more, like, me not doing this and never knowing what could have been with it, or just doing it just
Right.
because. I think it's really important to do things just because you want to do them, instead of, oh, this could get me money, or this could get this, fame, whatever. I think it's just important to be like, I like doing this because I want to. And that's also, I think, where a lot of success comes from, too.
Totally
the
agree.
sincerity behind it.
All right, so child aside, impending child aside,
Yes.
impending release aside, what else should we look forward to from you in 2019?
Okay. 2019, we're maybe like halfway through now. So
Oh, you got a lot of time left in the year.
I feel like they go by so fast. So right now, I've actually scaled back a lot and have been focusing a lot on mom life, because for so long I was working and juggling so many things. And I'm actually in school and, like, trying to get my master's right now, and
Good for you.
and other things, just personally, because there were, like, little milestones outside of being a creator. Like, I had to represent myself in court a lot, so I decided that I wanted to get a law degree at some point. So just little things, no big deal, trying to do. But also, that's also what excites me, is that I want to be able to say one day that I did all of this with two kids, and, you know,
Absolutely.
and I've been self-employed for 10 years, so just, I like to challenge myself, probably to the point where it drives me insane. But so for me, looking forward, it's very much so, I'm going through a transitional phase right now, flipping the script, but working with Treble and Tape Entertainment and a lot of the artists that I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things, because I've had to self-brand and I've had to build myself up, and I've worked with a lot of huge artists. I've seen artists go from nothing to huge, and
Sure.
in very close proximity. So I've been helping like other artists more so. Is that really is one of my favorite things in life is giving back and helping others, especially because a lot of people have a lot of talent and they are just one thing might be missing, or they're stuck somewhere in some sort of loop. So working with like Bianca Shaw and Taylor and Zeke, these Taylor's not a smaller artist, but like Bianca and Zeke, smaller artists that really deserve recognition, and I hear Bianca's going to be on the show soon, but just helping them to succeed. And then also
July 7th, I think.
Yeah. And then also just focusing on outputting things that I enjoy. So my album, my collaborative projects, and then I'm doing a lot more like pop-up stuff and more experiential art experiences that come with music and visual and just kind of igniting all the senses. So that and Treble, which is this company from New York I'm working with right now, where we're kind of pulling all of that together because they're like Tinder for musicians, and we're bringing together people.
That's the elevator pitch right there.
Right? It's such a good way to say it. I think it's so fun. Like, it really is. There's been nothing that makes it easy for people to collaborate on those aspects. Because social media, you know, there's a bunch of random stuff on there. But there's nothing that's been specific to, hey, if you're a musician, you can go on here and directly book studio time. You can go on here and you can directly find a producer, because that's one of the hardest parts, is finding someone you mesh with. And then when it's already hard to find musicians and producers and whatnot, then how do you create? There's a lot of hurdles that you have to go over. So it's just like removing some of those hurdles and making it easier for people to create, because I think that's just what makes life beautiful. Even if you don't skyrocket to fame, like, you're just creating, and that's fun.
Anything I should know for Bianca when I talk to her?
She doesn't talk about it a lot, but Bianca's a single mom of twins.
She's busy.
That is something people do not know. She's a drummer, she's a rapper, she's a singer, she's a single mom of twins. She's awesome. And she'll say she's not good at interviews, but she's hilarious. She's hilarious, and she likes to curse, so it's just about getting her out of that shell.
Pro tip.
But yeah, I know it sounds like it's all over the place, but I'm actually really excited about what's happening in life right now. Like, I think it's cool to come on and do this and not be like, I'm promoting one specific project. Yeah. I'm just like,
I like that too, actually.
Life, you know, like, I'm doing life. And I think it's cool.
I think you're cool.
Stop it. What are you doing?
All right, finish your vegan burger.
Yes.
I'm going to wrap up the recording here. Thanks for doing this.
No, thank you for having me.
I hope it was fun.
It was fun, and it's hilarious with the anal beads.
We have anal beads. They come standard with podcasts these days.
Standard in the podcast.
They do. Car Con Carne, presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston, 1015 Chicago Avenue. That's Chante. She's fantastic.